Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's practice is all about trying to find a fun, sometimes almost light-hearted way to get rid of tension within the body and within the mind. Towards that end, we're going to be peppering today's practice with this little hand movement. You can think of it as a starburst. I'm going to call it a sparkle. Such a simple movement, but if you think about it, what do we do when we get tense? Oftentimes, unconsciously, we begin to fist the hand. And then the only way to get us out of that pattern is to open up and reach through the fingers. So every time you find yourself sparkling on the mat, I want you to tell yourself to physically and mentally let go. Sometimes the sparkle that we're going to be playing with is a blinking on and off movement. And sometimes it's going to be a blink and a hold, reaching as long as you can through your fingertips. As always, play when you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class, standing in a Samasthiti line, so your feet just a little bit wider than hip width distance apart, all 10 toes facing in the same direction, and we're going to work a modified wood chopping action using that little sparkle. So you're going to float your hands overhead and you're going to give me fists into the hands. And then on an exhale, you're going to throw your hands down and open up through the fingers. We're going to do that a few times, looking to build up some heat energy. Every time you throw your fingertips down and open up into your sparkle hands, I want you to reach as long as you can through your fingertips. Let's do one more. You're going to end in the extended leg line and you're going to heel toe out, giving yourself a little bit more space through the legs, setting yourself up for a plie line. So toes looking to the corners of the mat, hands relaxed on the top of your thighs. You're going to bend the knees, coming into the plie line. And then as you come up and extend the legs, you're going to shrug the shoulders. You're going to play with that bend and that extend with a little shrug as you come into extension. Make sure that the knees are following the trajectory of your toes. We're going to end in the plie line and you're going to start giving me an alternating shoulder roll and drop. Looking to release more tensions from the upper trunk. So you're going to think shoulders, you're going to feel it into the back, you're going to feel it into the pelvis. You're going to hold your next shoulder drop and look over the back shoulder. Trying to keep your center of gravity nice and low. Then begin to extend the legs, draw up through the quads, give me a little shrug and a bend. So coming back into our shrug and our bend. Keep looking for a sense of tallness in the trunk. We're going to end in the plie line and we're going to bring it back to that rolling shoulder drop. Holding the plie line, resting your hands on the top of your thighs. Keep your belly button pulled into center. We're going to end in the shoulder drop. You're going to hold, looking over that back shoulder. Then peel back up into your star stretch. So you're starting to elongate through the legs and you're drawing up the energy through the quads. You're going to interlace the hands, tuck them behind your head, and you're going to give me almost a soft little back bend. You can think of it as a standing camel. You're going to curve slightly through the spine, opening up your chest center to the sky and leading the weight of your head into your palms and opening up those elbows as wide as you can. Then relax the arms at your side. Nod your chin to your chest on an exhale. Find your way back into a plie line. Hold the plie line and we're going to work a little arch and a little sparkle. You can Work a bend and extend through the elbow, or you can tap out to your thigh if you like, and then bring it overhead. But I want you to sparkle through that hand, wherever you decide to play. You're going to hold your next one, so open and reach through the fingertips as long as you can. Lead your way back to center. Start to stretch through the legs, start to draw the energy up along the quads. Interlace the hands, tuck them behind your head. Think of giving me a gentle back bend here. So feel the stretch not only through the tops of your thighs, but into the lower belly. Open up generously through your chest center. Breathe nice and deeply into the front of your ribs. Then ease your way back into your plie line and find your arcing overhead arm movement with a little sparkle at the end of it. We're going to do 2 more, and then we'll hold the last one. Reaching as long as you can through those fingertips, holding the arc, keeping your belly button pulled into center and breathing nice and deeply into the open side of your ribs. Then peel back up, start to heel toe in and find your way into a camel line. We're going to do a high kneeling frame on the mat, and you can keep the feet relaxed on the mat behind you. You're going to take a big breath in. As you bump your hips forward, I want you to throw the arms open and hold, almost making a funnel-like shape with your arms and inviting all the goodness that the universe has to offer into your body. Then relax the arms at your side, nod your chin to your chest. We're going to find our way into a thunderbolt position from here, Vajrasana. So you're going to bring the 2 knees together, you're going to bring the feet together, and you're going to sit back on your heels. If this feels uncomfortable, you can give me a high kneel, or you can open up the knees and tuck a block or a pillow through your legs. You're going to keep the arms relaxed on the top of your thighs, and we're going to work a dynamic shrug. So you rapid fire are going to lift and lower the shoulders, inhaling as they come up, exhaling as they go down. We're going to do that 10 times, and we're going to hold the last one. Take a big breath in, keep those shoulders softly dropping away from your ears. On an exhale, you're going to nod your chin to your chest. Bring it back to neutral. We're going to do that twice more. Nod your chin to your chest, pause. Bring it back to neutral. Then relax one hand down to the floor. Start to lean off the center line. Creep the hand as far away as you can. Arc and frame on the other side. Open up that hand into a wide sparkle and hold. Go back to center. Let's do the same on side 2. Start to drop the hand down to the floor. Creep it away from you, and you're starting to arc slightly through the side of the body. Arc and frame with the top arm. Find a sparkle and hold it. You're reaching as tall as you can through all 5 fingers. Find your way back to center. We're going to ease our way from here into a mermaid line. So bending one leg, you're going to use the front edge of your mat as your ruler, and you're going to think of trying to replicate that line through the knee and the shin, and you're going to clip the knee of the back leg into the foot of the front leg. You're going to wiggle around until it feels like you are even on both of your bum bones. You're going to take the hand that's closest to your back leg, and you're going to place that between both legs. The other arm is just gently placed alongside your body, fingertips more or less in line with your hip. We're going to focus on the back leg. You're going to give me a little knee lift and a tap back down, keeping the foot connected to the floor. So it's just the knee that's lifting and lowering off the mat, and we're starting to mobilize into the inner thighs, into the pelvic girdle. Stay here or begin to play. You're going to start to rotate, grounding the back foot, opening up the knee to the sky, and then tapping back out to the mat. We're going to do that a few times dynamically. So you're beginning to rotate with your trunk, and you're looking towards that knee as it opens up. Start to move mindfully with your breath. The next time you find yourself rolling open, you're going to hold here. You can maybe ground through the bottom hand, or you can keep spider fingertips on the mat, and you're going to draw that knee open. This is where it gets fun. You can either hold this position, or you can find your way into a modified three-legged table, Kamatrasana. You're going to ground through both feet, then come onto the tips of your toes as you float your belly up to the sky, and start to give me a little blinking sparkle with that top hand. Keep your glutes engaged. Try to keep a nice high tiptoe position. Then ease your bottom gently back down to the mat. As you reconnect into your mermaid frame, you're going to change the shape of your legs. You're going to swing the back leg around. Coming into Sukhasana, easy sit, with one leg in front of the other. You're going to place your fingertips on the mat behind you. You can give me high spider fingertips or a flat hand on the mat. And you're going to take a gentle forward fold here. Not worrying about how close you're coming to the floor, but just taking a little bow here with your trunk. Keep pushing off the 10 fingers that are connected to the mat behind you. Breathing nice and deeply into the back of your ribs, so think lower rib cage. Then peel up, keep your fingertips on the floor. You can either do hands back, hands to the side, or hands forward, whichever feels comfortable for you. And you're going to bring yourself into a modified table boat line, tipping the weight off your tailbone, bringing the 2 feet flush along the midline, and you're going to work a dynamic clam line from your boat. So you're keeping the weight tipped off your tailbone, keeping the feet softly connected together as you open and close through the knees. If your balance is feeling good and your core connection is strong, you can bring the hands off the mat and you can start to work a little blinking sparkle with your hands. Give yourself a little smile. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. We're going to find our way from here into a soft butterfly line. You can maybe hold around the ankles, or maybe you can hold around the feet. And you're going to work a little fluttering motion with your knees, bringing your knees towards your ears and away from your ears. Giving the inner thighs and the groin area just an opportunity to warm up nicely. And then you're going to drop your knees as heavy as you can to the floor. You're going to tug up slightly through your toes. So you've got energy traveling down through the knees and your bum bones, and you've got energy traveling up through your spine and your toes. Then start to close the knees, grounding the feet, hugging. So you can maybe just hold onto the forearms here, or you could even give me a hold around the wrists, whichever feels good for you. But you're going to give me a nice, quite a tight hold on those knees, and you're going to sit up as tall as you can, squeezing the 2 knees together and squeezing the 2 feet and the ankles together. You're going to take a big breath in with your chin line in neutral. On an exhale, you're going to nod your chin to your chest. You're going to keep the nod, and you're going to start using your chin as a compass, and you're going to trace towards your left shoulder, and then think 180 and just start to trace towards your right shoulder. Come back to neutral. Come back to your start position. Big breath in. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Use the chin as a compass. Trace towards one shoulder. And then think 180 taking it in the opposite direction. Releasing that little tension spot at the nape of your neck, we're going to do that combination move one last time. Big breath in from neutral. On an exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Use it as a compass. Begin to trace towards one shoulder. And then think 180, taking it all the way to the other shoulder. Come back to your start position. We're going to find our way from here into mermaid on side 2. So make sure you're not working the same leg twice. Set up your mermaid line. Wiggle around. Take a moment to just ensure that your bum bones are connected to the mat. You're going to take the hand that's closest to the back leg and you're going to place that between the two thighs. You're going to use your other hand on the outside along your hips to just support your frame. Focus on the back leg. You're going to lift just the knee off the floor and tap back out. We're going to do that maybe 10 times. You can almost think of this as a modified butterfly flutter. Feel that delicious work into the groin area. Keep belly to spine the whole time that you're playing and try to keep a sense of tallness through the trunk. Stay here or start to work a more of a rotational movement, starting to ground onto the back foot, look towards it, and then tap back out. So you're rotating gently through the trunk to follow the knee as it opens all the way out and as that back foot grounds into the mat. Let's do 6 more. Taking your time, not rushing. You're really cold, and of course always working within your range of motion. Then maybe holding your next opening, maybe grabbing for the knee and pulling it open. Staying here or finding your way into your modified wild thing. Think of grounding both feet, coming onto the tips of your toes as you give me a 3-legged table. Float the one hand overhead and start to give me a little blinking sparkle through your hands. Keeping belly to spine as you're playing. Use those glutes. Then find your way back into your mermaid frame. Once you've found the mermaid frame, you're going to swing the back leg around. You're going to set up Sukhasana, easy sit with your bum bones equally weighted, both hands on the mat behind you. Take a big breath in, and then on an exhale, you're going to fold it forward as far as you can. Don't worry about the proximity of your head to the floor. Just give me a soft bow here and breathe nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. Then when you're ready, you're going to peel up and you're going to set yourself up for that modified boat line. So think of tipping the weight off your tailbone, bringing the legs together in a narrow tabletop boat. So the feet are together. You're going to begin opening and closing through the knees. Either keeping your fingertips on the mat behind you or bringing them off the mat, and you're going to start working that little blinking movement with your hands. Find your little working sparkle. Think of those little sparklers that we always used to have on our birthday cakes when we were little. Give yourself a little smile as you maybe bring yourself back to a fond memory. We're going to find our way from here into a butterfly line, holding onto the ankles or maybe holding onto the toes, whichever feels good for you, and start to work a soft fluttering motion through the knees. Keeping your trunk nice and tall, keeping your belly button gently pulled in. You're going to end in the knee drop and just hold it here, looking for a sense of tallness through the trunk, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. Then start to close your butterfly line, grounding the 2 feet, flush along the midline, squeeze the knees together, find the hug that works for you. Big breath in, tall spine. On the exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Keep the nod and begin to trace towards one shoulder blade. Then think 180, taking it all the way in the opposite direction. Retrace your path back to your start position. Big breath in. On the exhale, nod your chin to your chest. Start to trace towards one shoulder blade and then the other, keeping that chin drop as you do so. Bring it back to center. Let's do that one more time before we change our orientation on the mat. We're going to find our way from here into a 4-point kneeling position facing the top end of the mat. Set yourself up for a cat-cow, but we'll change it up slightly today. Find your 4-point kneeling frame with your hands stacking underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. You're going to begin playing with a hollow back and a rounded back. You're going to just use the cat-cow at first to mobilize through the spine, and you're going to give yourself roughly 5 one-to-one oscillations between the cat and the cow. And then you're going to end for me in the cow position with that hollow back, Uttanasana, but don't collapse through your shoulders. So push the mat away. Come out through the shoulders, open up the spot between the shoulder blades. And even though you've got a hollow back, I'd like you to keep the belly button softly pulled into center. Then come back into your dynamic rounds of cat-cow, oscillating between a rounded back and a hollow back, working at a 1-to-1 inhalation to exhalation ratio, and using it just to release tension in the spine. This time we're going to end in the cow frame, Marjariyasana, and you're going to hold cat. Drop your chin to your chest, stretch through the shoulders, stretch to the back of your ribs. Hold, breathe comfortably. Then ease your way into a neutral line, somewhere between your cat and your cow, and we'll work a modified bird dog. Stretch the right arm out as far as it will go. Stretch the left leg out as far as it will go. In unison, float the 2 limbs up. And then bend your floating limbs, tucking them into center. We've got a fisted hand here. And as you open up the arm and the leg, you're going to give me a little starburst through the hand. And you're going to do that roughly 10 times. Looking for a long stretch through the arm, the leg, and the fingertips as you open up into table. Exhaling as you tuck, inhaling as you reach. Last one. Let's change sides. Opposite arm and leg extending, floating up into table, bending to tuck, making a fist with the hand, and then opening up through your fingertips into a little sparkle burst as you come into the working bird dog. Last one. Peel your way back down to the mat. We're going to find our way into a camel line. And you're going to start by taking the L frame between your index fingers and your thumb. You're going to support your lower back as you come into a back bend. Once you've found the back bend, maybe interlacing the hands behind your back and making a little fist, dropping the fist down between your bum cheeks, pausing there for a few seconds, and then unfisting your hands, throwing the hands overhead, keeping those fingertips wide in your open starburst, keeping the camel line the whole time. So you're bumping the weight of your hips forward over your knees, you're stretching into the top of your thighs and the lower belly. Then restack your whole body, think shoulders, hips, knees in one line, nod your chin towards your chest. We're coming into a low lunge line here, and let's start on the right side first. We're going to step the right leg forward into a low lunge. You're going to give me an overhead sparkle here, so think of replicating the frame that you just played with in the camel. And then we'll bring it into a little hamstring stretch and we'll tap to the floor. So low lunge as you open up into your sparkle, then start to bump the weight of your hips back, extend the front leg, bringing the toes off the mat and get a nice little stretch here. You're going to give yourself maybe 5 or 6 oscillations between the low lunge and your little hamstring stretch, extending the front leg, thinking toes to sky, trying to open up that tight spot behind the knees and keep playing with those blinking sparkles through the hands. Then maybe ending in the hamstring stretch, you can either stay here with your bum off your back foot, or you can take a seat onto the back foot. If you find yourself collapsing, you can support your frame on the extended leg side, placing a block or a pillow underneath your bottom. Take a gentle bow here, and if you've got the range of motion, if your toes are accessible, you're going to cross at the wrists, and you're going to reach for the undercarriage of your foot, and you're just going to open the elbows wide to the side of the room. And you're going to take a couple of deep breaths here. Wherever you are, just breathe nice and deeply into the whole lower back. Keep your belly button gently pulled into center. Then unwrap, come back into your low lunge line and set yourself up either in a high kneeling line with your shoulders, hips, and knees stacked, or you can come back into Thunderbolt with the knees together and the feet together, sitting back on your bottom. You're going to flip your hands, palms up if you're in Thunderbolt. If you're in Camel, you can just keep them relaxed at your side. Take a big breath in. On an exhale, you're going to nod your chin to your chest. And you're going to start tracing a slow yes pattern through your head. Inhaling to look up to the sky. Exhaling to nod your chin to your chest. Looking for a little release into that little tension spot at the nape of your neck. Watch that you're not giving too much compression as you look up to the sky. So rather look to stretch the neck than compress it. You're going to give me a few yes nods here. Working mindfully with your breath. And then you can begin to work a couple of no nods, looking over one shoulder, moving almost shoulder to shoulder. So you can think 180 side to side, keeping your chin line parallel to the floor. So exhale every time you look over one chin, and then inhale as you come back to the middle. Exhale as you take it to the other side. The whole time you're holding neutral spine. We're going to find our way from here into a little toe breaker stretch. So the next time you find yourself in neutral, come into a high kneel if you were in Thunderbolt. If you were in a kneeling frame, you're already in the right position. You're going to tuck your toes under, making sure, just take a moment to ensure that each toe is connected to the mat, not just your big and second toe. You're going to sit back, bum to heel. You're going to feel quite an intense stretch into the back of each toe, into the arch of your foot. You're going to hold your little toe breaker stretch, holding neutral spine. Give yourself a few moments here. Make sure your shoulders are not shrugged up, so you want them relaxed away from your ears. And then keeping your toe breaker stretch, you're going to take a little bow onto the mat. Think soft, almost cactus-like arms as you tap your forehead to the mat. Trying to press into that little third eye tension spot between the two eyebrows, your Anya chakra. And then stay here in your toe breaker stretch. Or if you'd like to play, reach the hands back one at a time and see if you can reach for the undercarriage of both feet. Holding onto the feet. With the hands, you're pulling towards your headline, and with your feet, you're pushing away from the headline. So I want you to find that sense of opposition within the stretch. So you're marrying your toe breaker stretch with child pose, Balasana. Then relax the feet, relax the arms like two wet noodles, limp noodles alongside your body. And just pause here in child pose, Balasana, trying to keep your legs in a soft parallel line, or you can do big toes together, knees open wider, if that works better for you. Just take a couple of breaths here, pressing gently the whole time into that pressure point of the third eye. When you're ready, you're going to find your way back into 4-point kneeling, and we're going to come into that dynamic cat-cow before we hold. Set up your 4-point kneeling frame, hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. When you're ready, you're going to begin moving dynamically between your cat and your cow frame for at least 5 rounds, playing in a 1-to-1 ratio. After your 5th round, you're going to find your way into your cow frame, Vitalasana, and you're going to hold without collapsing. So you're pushing away from the mat, you're opening up the spot between the two shoulders, and even though you've got that hollow back and that rounded belly frame, you're still keeping the belly button gently pulled into center. Look for strength within your pose. When you're ready, begin to play dynamically again, finding a working cat-cow, Chakrabakasana. Find your way into a cat stretch and hold it. Nodding chin to chest, hollowing out your belly, rounding out your back. Making the skin over the back of your ribs nice and tight. Then ease your way into neutral and let's set up a working, blinking, sparkling bird dog. Extend opposite arm and leg out. Then bend the two limbs, giving me a fist as you tuck, and then blink open into your sparkle as you extend and reach through the opposite arm and leg, giving yourself roughly 10 working bird dogs. Exhale as you tuck, inhale as you open. Then find your way back to 4-point kneeling and rinse and repeat on side 2. Find your way back to 4-point kneeling and then come into a camel line using the L frame between your index finger and your thumb to hook around your waist as you bump your hips forward. Stay here or find a fisted line behind your back, dropping the fist down between your bum cheeks, drawing the two shoulder blades together and opening up generously through the chest. Try to keep that camel frame as you then open up the hands, throwing them overhead, keeping those fingers long and reaching once you've opened up into your sparkle. Then relax the arms at your side, restack shoulders, hips, knees, nod your chin to your chest, take a recovery breath. We're going to set up that working low lunge on side 2. Take a little lunge step forward on the left, finding your sparkle throw up. And then bump your hips back, bowing forward as you find a hamstring stretch. Start to move dynamically between the low lunge with your sparkle throw and your hamstring stretch, extending the front leg, bringing the feet off the mat so you're resting on your heel and you bumping the weight of your bum back towards the back edge of your mat. You're going to give yourself maybe 5 or 6 moving oscillations between the two frames, keeping belly to spine the whole time. You're going to end in the pushback position, so in your hamstring stretch, either staying here, fingers to floor, with your bum high off your back leg, or you're going to take a seat on your back foot. Fold forward as far as you can, and if you've got the range of motion, you're going to cross at the wrists, reaching for the undercarriage of your foot. You're going to fold forward, thinking Janu Sirsasana, head to knee, maybe allowing your elbows to track wide, and just breathing as deeply as you can into the whole back line. Think ribs expanding on each inhalation and then falling back to center on the exhalation. Give yourself a few moments here, and then we'll find our way from here either into a high kneel, or you can ease your way back into Thunderbolt as we release through the neck. Start to uncouple, find your high kneel, or sit it back in Thunderbolt with your hands palms up to the sky. Big breath in, you're going to nod your chin to your chest. And then when you inhale again, look gently up towards the sky and begin to trace a moving yes nod with your head. Keeping your shoulders softly melting away from your ears the whole time. And then transition into a no pattern, keeping your chin parallel to the floor as you move to look over your shoulders, moving almost 180 degrees, left to right, right to left. Come back to neutral, place your fingertips on the floor, tuck your toes under, coming into your toe breaker stretch, taking a moment to check that all 10 toes are connected to the mat. Sitting back, relaxing your hands on the top of your thighs. Feel that delicious stretch into the back of each toe, into the arches of your feet. Then hold the toe breaker stretch as you take a soft, almost cactus line stretch, bow through the arms, connecting your third eye to the mat, staying here in your soft cactus-like frame through the arms, or reaching your arms back, reaching for the undercarriage of your feet while holding the toe breaker stretch, pulling up with your hands and pressing down with your feet. Find opposition in the stretch. And then when you're ready, you're going to release the hold on your feet. You're going to relax the tops of your feet into the mat, and you're going to relax the arms at your side, finding your way into a totally chilled child pose, Balasana. While you're blissing out, you can decide how you'd like to end off your practice for today. You can either find your way into a seat of your choice or ease your way into corpse pose. If you're coming into corpse pose, you could maybe sit up, find your way into a tall seat with enough runway behind you. Maybe you'd like to tuck into a tight little ball, and then just gently fall back, forming a soft starfish-like frame on the mat and settling the whole weight of your body into the mat. If you prefer to end in a seat, you can maybe come into easy sit, a full or a half lotus, whichever works for you. Wherever you decide to be, I'd like you to close your eyes. I'd like you to take your focus inward, and I'd like you to try to visualize the scene that I'm going to set for you as we work a little Nidra relaxation exercise. Picture the bottom of the ocean, fathoms deep, so deep that it's pitch dark, darker than load shedding on a cold winter's night. Visualize that darkness enveloping you. Then see yourself as a fluorescent starfish, wriggling your tentacles as you settle the weight of your body in the sand. As your blood starts to pump through your tentacles, see your luminous skin begin to flicker on and off, like a light bulb coming to life. At first, you emit a soft light, but that light becomes progressively brighter and stronger, starting to lighten up the darkness around you. Smile big as you lengthen and stretch through each tentacle. Think toes, hands, crown, reaching, stretching, lengthening. Tap into your happy place. Find joy in your movement. Find joy in your surroundings as your fluorescent skin starts to sparkle, lightening up everything around you. See beautiful clear water. See soft flowing currents. See pristine ocean plants. Think seaweeds, corals, anemones. See fish life darting purposefully all around you. Visualize this picture of perfect marine life in full HD Technicolor. Vibrant reds, blues, yellows, and all the hues in between. Life can be so good if you only let it be. Be that fluorescent sparkle that positively changes the way you see the world. Sparkle. Give love, give laughter, spread joy. With that thought, end off your practice for today by just nodding your chin to your chest and whispering the words Shanti. Peace within, peace without. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your little sparkle practice. Till next time, keep it light.